Right now I've got web code coming out here. So if you're just learning to code for HTML5 to make web pages, you might like Adobe Brackets better than what you're currently using. I know my students, if they have a PC, they use Notepad to do this part. If they have a Mac, they use TextEditor. So Adobe Brackets is better than both of those, and I just want to take you through it and show you why. The preview on the live preview on this, like you create, a good part of your page, you want to see what it looks like, and so all you have to do with Adobe Brackets is go over to the right side and you'll see live preview, and you'll just double click on that little lightning bolt button, and that kind of gives you the browser view right off the bat. So here's the page. I can make sure my images are showing up, that I've coded that part right, and that my hrefs or my hyperlinks are also working. So I'll try that hyperlink and make sure that it's taking me to another page, and that page also shows up, with all the images in place. So I'm in browser view obviously very quickly, which doesn't happen if you have Notepad or TextEditor. So I'm going to go back to brackets down here at the bottom. You can see the icon, and I'll also want to take you to Adobe's area where they have brackets available for download. So we want to just go out to in my case, I went out to Chrome. And this is the web address you go to download Adobe Brackets. Now, it's a bit of an unusual web address, but it's brackets.io, as you see in my browser bar. And on this page, you'll see download brackets, and the version may be a little different by the time you get to it. So just download it. It downloads both to PC and your Macs. And then just obviously it downloads for Chrome, it downloads down here, and then you want to just go to your folder in downloads and finish out the install process for Adobe Brackets. Now let me go back to brackets, and besides just the great live preview, which is a double click to get that to happen, I also wanted to show you at least how to add one extension. There's lots of extensions available for Adobe Brackets, so I wanted to take you to the area where you can install different extensions that you find helpful to you. Now, this one I think would be helpful to most people, and plus it gives you the process of how to install an extension. So again, go to the far right, just underneath that live preview button, you have extension manager button right here. So click on that. That's just one click, and you'll find that you have available and themes and installed and default. Okay, and I'm going to search on, so go to the search box, and this one's called Emmet, E-M-M-E-T, and it pops up down here, Emmet. Now you will have an install button over on the right. Mine is already installed, so that's why it says installed. So click on your install button to install it, and then just close it out. And I would also do this. Go to the debug area, and the second one down says reload with extensions. So we'll click that button so that it will go ahead and add that extension to your currently open brackets software. Okay. Now, once you do that, then I'll show you what that can do. Like I said here, I just have a basic web page up, and I showed you what it did look like. And I didn't mention this earlier, but I do like the kind of color coding it does to make things stand out. And as far as talking about colors, you can change the background of this to be, instead of white, you can make it black. If you go up to view, you can choose themes, and you can do a couple things there. For one thing, you might like the dark brackets dark with a dark background versus having that white background. That's up to you. For video screenshot purposes today, I'm using the light one, which is the default one, but that's a choice you can make. Now, the other thing that I'm going to change, obviously, is the font size. I mean, some of you that current font's fine, but if you want to make the font size of your code larger, it's in pixels, so I may bring it up to 18, I may bring it up to 20 pixels, whatever, and say done, which obviously that's a little big, but that's okay. If I was actually doing screenshots, I would like it this size so my students have no problem seeing what code I just typed in. I may take it down just a little bit. So let me go back to view and themes. And let me try like maybe, I don't know, 18. See if 18 is a little better for what we're doing today. So, I can live with that. And like I said, if you want to change the white background to black, that was the same spot. Go to view and themes to change the background to black. Now, so I talked a little bit about the color coding here. Now that we've got Emmet installed, I want to show you what Emmet's going to do for you. And I think it's very helpful for new coders. But if you go to File New, I'm just going to create a whole new file. So I'll just go to File New. And I want to save this file, even though I don't have anything on it yet. I just want to go ahead and save it so I can make the extension work. So I'll just also go to File, Save. And I'm going to save this, give it a new file name. I'm going to just call it Emmet Trial. I got a bunch of them, so Emmet Trial 4. But before I leave this, I'm going to say .html so that it knows it's a web page that we're building here. That's very important to get the .html on there. And let me just go save it in my folder. And let's see, yeah, and I'll save it in there. Okay, so this blank web page now has at least a name, if nothing else. Now, the quick way to get some basic web page structure on here, from the initial doc type all the way to the /HTML tag at the bottom, is to do this keyboard shortcut trick that I want to show you. Now, it's just 2 keystrokes basically. It's well, first you want the exclamation point. So I'm going to put an exclamation point on here, and then I'm going to hit the tab button on my keyboard, and as soon as I do that, I get the initial web page structure for a web page. Now, at this point, you can go in and you can add all the extra stuff that makes it your web page, right? So we've got all the initial tags in here. After the body one, I can go in and say, give me an H1 level tag, and notice that it also gives you the ending H1 tag, so it automatically does that for you. And I could say, welcome to Adobe Brackets. And then, again, I could take it to the live preview to just see how that kind of looks, since I've finally given it something that it can actually display. So I'll go over and double click on the live preview. And you will notice that nothing's going to happen. It's just going to be blank. You say, well, what happened? Well, what you got to remember to do is when you're in brackets, when you add something new, like we just did with the H1s, you want to go up to either File, Save, or my quicker way, obviously, is just do Control S for save on your keyboard. So I can do Control S, then go back to Live Preview. And that's my H1 showing right there. Okay, so remember, you got to save between adding your new line and you want to see it. You want the live preview on it. So do that. Type it out. Do Control S to save it, and then click over on live preview. Double click on that to see what it looks like in the browser view. All right, so that's just some initial things that are great benefits in Adobe Brackets that I hope you'll try and kind of get away from using Notepad and get away from using TextEditor in the Mac. So I hope this video has helped you with that part. Thank you for your time.